Hi guys, my name is Erica, and if this is the first video of mine that you're watching, I'm 33 years old and I'm a first-time mom to a little boy who is about to be 3 months old at the end of this month. I just put him down for a nap and I was straightening up around the house, and I just got this idea to grab a couple of things that I used postpartum and during my pregnancy that I really enjoyed, and I repurchased multiple times with the exception of one thing. And I wanted to make this video because I don't have endless means. I am very much on a budget. I don't make a ton of money, and I was overwhelmed as a pregnant mom for the first time about what to get, what to use postpartum, what to put in my hospital bag, what to put on my bedside cart, blah, 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 blah. So I just wanted to grab a couple things that I use that I highly recommend. If you watch this and you want to purchase any of these products, I do have a link to my Amazon storefront in my bio. You don't have to buy from that, obviously, but you can get all of these products on Amazon. But if you do shop through my link, it is a commissionable link, and it just helps support me, my son, and my family. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing, call me shallow. The first thing I wanted to get on top of was taking care of my belly. As it grew, I wanted to minimize stretch marks. If I got them, minimize the appearance of stretch marks. So I got two products. This one was actually gifted to me. It's called Badger Belly Butter. It's really amazing, and it smells amazing. It smells exactly like chocolate. It looks like this. It's a little bit goes a long way. Actually, now postpartum, I actually use it more on my hands because I have a tendency to pick at my cuticles when I'm anxious, and it is an amazing product and it smells so good. But my holy grail, and like I said, there's nothing wrong with stretch marks. They're beautiful. We carry a human for 9 months. We grow a human for 9 months. What the woman's body can do is absolutely incredible. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with stretch marks, but I was somebody who just wanted to minimize the appearance of my stretch marks or avoid them at all possible. And I have very minimal stretch marks now. I do believe, when I think back, the places where I do have stretch marks are low enough where I probably would have missed applying this product, and they're very faint anyways, so I'm not too worried about it. But it is bio oil. I applied this product every single day. I would get out of the shower, freshly out of the shower, my skin's a little bit wet, still a little bit damp. I put it on my belly, let myself, air dry, and then I would put on whatever lotion I was using at the time on top of it. But I use this sometimes twice a day. I can't tell you how many bottles of this I went through when I was pregnant. There are tons of brands out there that are claiming to help with stretch marks, and you won't get stretch marks if you use this. This is the only product I used. I got it off of Amazon. I saw a lot of sponsored posts, but this is what I use. I have used this in the past. I would use a little bit on where I had hormonal acne when I was actually on birth control many years ago. And I do feel like it minimized the appearance of my scars from that. So I thought, why not? If it worked for that, then perhaps it will help with my stretch marks. And I firmly believe that it did. I purchased this probably 4 times, maybe a little bit more throughout my pregnancy. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. The next thing that I use, this is like a baby care item. I put this on my registry, and I actually used it for the first time not that long ago. Prior to this, I had a baby grooming kit that was gifted to me, and it had these little baby nail files in it. I am petrified of nail clippers. I am petrified that I am going to clip my son's finger off. So I wanted to use files, and that's what I've been using up until this point. So then yesterday he was sitting still, and I was like, I'm gonna give this a go. This, like I said, was on my registry. It's the Mom Cozy Baby Nail File Kit. Looks like this. So it has a bunch of different attachments, and on here it has like a bunch of different speeds. It's a really great product. I mean, if your baby will sit still long enough, it doesn't irritate them. It sounds like it might hurt them, but it doesn't. It's very gentle on them. He sat still. I actually posted a short of this, and he's just sitting there watching football while I was using this on him, and it's not uncomfortable for them. It doesn't hurt them. It's very gentle on them. I would purchase this 10 times over, and even if a friend of mine, I have a friend who just recently told me she was pregnant, I'm going to buy this for her because it is a game changer, and she has anxiety like me, so I know that she will definitely feel better about using a file versus nail clippers. So highly recommend that. As far as postpartum, so my birth plan was I wanted to deliver vaginally. I was scared of having a C-section, but I pushed for 3 hours and nothing was moving forward. I was exhausted and I really just wanted to get the ball moving. You know what I'm saying? So I opted to have a C-section. When I packed my hospital bag, I packed for what I thought I would need for a vaginal recovery. So for me, I did bleed because I tried to deliver vaginally, I did have bleeding and I bled for probably 6 weeks. And I saw a lot of videos of people making like pad sickles. So they were like prepping it with like witch hazel, tux pads and all of that stuff. And they were putting them in the freezer and then like all of these things. And what I found, I was leaking out of the pads. So I was using the hospital pads and I had overnight pads that were supposed to absorb everything, and they did, but when I was sleeping, I'm a side sleeper, and I would wake up in the hospital bed and I would feel very unsanitary. So what I ended up buying is these Always postpartum discreet underwear. They're high-waisted. One thing that I was worried about with these is because I had a C-section and with these being high-waisted, I was worried that my incision these would not be breathable enough for my incision to get air to hit it to promote the healing process. But what I would do is after I would take a shower, I would just let myself air dry. I would pat dry with my towel. And then I would just let myself air dry and then I would put this on. I never had any issues with, infection or anything like that. My incision healed up perfectly, beautifully at 8 weeks. It was, it is what it is. So I highly recommend these. These, for what you get, I think it's like $14 for a pack of these. For size reference, I was about $195 when I delivered and I got a size large and these fit me perfectly. I highly recommend, out of all of my postpartum care items, this is a 10 out of 10. I'll even show you what they look like because they're seriously, they're not like the most like aesthetic, but they're so comfortable. And then the inside, I'll show you, it has a pad built into it. And if you want to put if you are recovering vaginally and you want to put your tux pads and all of that other stuff in there, you could, but I just felt, especially with having a C-section and feeling just very my belly just felt uncomfortable and not secure. And with these being high-waisted, I just felt a little bit more secure. So highly recommend these. Also, when my milk came in, I dealt with a lot of leaking for this first couple of weeks. I tried to stay on top of pumping, but sometimes I would go a couple hours too long and then I would wake up and my maternity bra would be soaked. So I got these nursing pads. They're disposable nursing pads. I did buy Target's brand when I ran out of these. Well, there's only a couple left, but when I repurchased nursing pads, I wanted to try to save money, so I went to Target and I got Target's brand of nursing pads. They are not anywhere as close to being as good as these as far as adhesive and sticking inside of your nursing bra. Also, as far as nursing bras, those are expensive as shit. So I looked on Shein and I got a pack of 4 or 5 for $20. I still wear them because I am pumping, but those were amazing. So if anybody wants the link to those maternity bras, just let me know and I will send you the link for those. Somebody asked me about that before and I sent them the link. But if anybody's interested, I'll of course send you the link for that. What else? Things that I bought that I didn't use. So those nipple covers, the sterling silver nipple covers, they don't stay cooling long enough for me. My nipples were, of course, very sore and I wanted some relief and I bought those thinking that it would be great, but I would nurse or I would pump and then I would put them in the freezer and then it would apply after I was done pumping or nursing and it would provide relief for maybe, and I'm saying maybe 5 minutes, and then they would be warm just because of my body warming them up. So I really didn't find any use for them and they were $20. So if you're thinking about getting them, to each their own, this is just my experience, but just speaking from my experience, I would say save your money. What else? Oh, so I didn't have hemorrhoids throughout my entire pregnancy. I have dealt with hemorrhoids previously and they're painful as shit. And if you've had them, you know. But when I was postpartum, I had the worst hemorrhoid in my entire life. And if you've ever had a hemorrhoid and thought it was so bad and feared the worst happened to me, in my opinion. So I had a thrombosed hemorrhoid, okay? So I had to go a week after I gave birth, I had to go to the hospital and get that excised, or however you say it. So they had to cut it open. It was so embarrassing. I was mortified. I cried my eyes out. My newborn is laying in my boyfriend's arms, and it's just like, it was like the worst thing of my entire life. So I would highly recommend, if you do have hemorrhoids or you're worried about getting them postpartum, because from pushing, I would definitely say that the likelihood of you getting them is high. The Tux pads, would highly recommend those. As far as something else is those ice packs that you break and people put them in their pads or in the underwear. I don't know why people do that. I tried to do that to provide some relief. It is so heavy. I don't know how that's comfortable for anyone. On top of that, it doesn't stay cold long enough to provide any relief. I did ask for them in the hospital because the hospital did provide them for me so that I could place them underneath my underwear on where my incision was, because it was like hot. And just to provide some like numbing, I guess. And it doesn't last. I can't tell you how many of those I went through. I got a box of them delivered from Amazon. I ended up deciding that I did not want them, so I went to return them, and the company said they didn't want me to return them, so now I just have a box of them. I did use a couple when I got home just to provide some relief on my incision, but that's about it. So if you're thinking about getting those, I don't really think they're necessary, but again, to each their own. What else? Also, in a hospital bag, I really only packed like a nightgown. I personally wore my robe the entire time. It was most comfortable for me. I just wore my nursing bra, my postpartum underwear, and my robe the entire time. I was just so tired. I was uncomfortable. So a robe was just what was most comfortable for me. Let's see. I got tons of swaddles, and my son was and still is incredibly strong. We couldn't swaddle him. He hated it. He would somehow maneuver himself out of them. I know some babies love them, and I would recommend getting one or two, but I got a shit ton of swaddles. I will never, ever use them all. Let's see. Okay, I feel like that's all for now. I just decided to make this video on the fly, so I didn't come like fully prepared, but that's just right off the top of my head, things that I've repurchased or things that I would highly recommend postpartum or baby care. Oh, something else I'm just thinking of now that I'm, kind of thinking about it is Mom Cozy makes this portable sound machine and like nightlight. I got a little nightlight for Roman, but he doesn't really use it. We have salt lamps in our house, and it's basically the same thing, and he will stare at a salt lamp until he falls asleep. I mean, every baby is different. I'm just giving, my recommendations and, my experience, and hopefully can save a mom some money in places where she feels like she might need to spend money but doesn't. And also, you want to be prepared, of course, but you don't want to overbuy and end up with a bunch of things you don't need. So I have like so much left over that I'm actually thinking about probably doing a giveaway on my TikTok or on YouTube or something like that for a first-time mom, because I know how hard it is. So anyways, that's all I got for now. And just one piece of advice, just make sure that you lean into your support system. I was really worried about postpartum depression. I deal with some mental health issues, and I was really, really worried about having a difficult time postpartum. I plan on talking about this more on my channel in the future, probably. I'm an open book basically, but I think talking about it publicly, I did once before, but I went into psychosis in April of 2023, and it was a garden-induced psychosis, and I was in the hospital for about a week, And then I got pregnant several months later. I found out I was pregnant in October. So I was like petrified of having a baby and what postpartum would do to me, because my therapist had told me if you had gone into psychosis, you're at a higher risk for experiencing postpartum psychosis. So I was pretty scared. So you just want to make sure you have a really solid support system. I would say my partner is probably my biggest support. He really knows when, you know, I need to take a break. And so just make sure you ask for what you need and get the support that you need. Always talk about your feelings. Don't ever hold anything in. And even though I'm just a stranger on the internet, if you ever need somebody to talk to, my email is in my bio. You can always email me. If you have any questions, I would love to hear from you guys. And again, all of these things that I talked about today are going to be in my Amazon storefront, and some other things. I continue to add to my Amazon storefront all the time of things that I love and highly recommend. And again, it is a commissionable link and it does support me and my family. So if you do shop through there, I am forever grateful. And if you have any questions or want any other recommendations, or if you like videos like this, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so I know what more to give to you guys. All right, have the best day. Bye.